Welcome back to another YouTube Tuesday. My name is Derek, and today we're going to be going over a YouTube channel that's quite big, and they've got quite a bit of content that is definitely useful. And that channel is TronicsFix. Let's get into the video. So the channel TronicsFix mainly focuses on repairing consoles. Whether it's him buying damaged consoles and fixing them or fixing them for people, he has really good content. So his next video will be his 600th video. He's almost at 1.6 million subscribers and he's well on his way to 500 million views. So today we're going to take a look at his most recent video so that you can get an idea of what his channel's about. Let's get into his video.
The person that sold me this PS5 says, I have a PS5 I bought brand new in 2021, but had an ex-girlfriend get mad at me and pour about a 6-ounce mixed drink into my PS5. It still turns on, but won't update. What do you think I should do? Well, of course you should email me so I can make a video out of it. Luckily they did, so I paid them $125 because they just wanted to get rid of it and see me make a video out of it. Now, I don't know how long ago that was, so let's plug this thing in and see if it still turns on, and then we'll get it apart and see what's wrong and if we can fix it. Okay, all plugged in. Does the disk drive have power? It does. Does the console have power? It beeps. Blue light, black screen, and we have a display. So this is probably the software update that the seller is talking about, that it won't update, can't complete the update. Yep, okay, let's get this thing apart. So I'm kind of assuming that the drink must have been poured down here. I don't see any evidence of anything. This case is dirty, but no evidence of any liquid anywhere here. The seller said that the drink was poured down it, so I'm assuming it's down here somewhere. If it was, horizontal like this, then it wouldn't have done anything. And that's generally the two ways that these are, stored. So no evidence of any issues so far. This shell is definitely hard to get off. Oh, there we go. I think it just hasn't been taken apart before. Doesn't smell super funny. Yeah, same thing there. Oh, somebody has taken it apart, at least partially. Just no evidence of anything so far. So obviously, in this case, what I'm wondering is what the seller did to make his ex-girlfriend so upset. Oftentimes when I get these consoles in and make a video about them, people hear the story and they automatically blame the girlfriend or ex-girlfriend or wife or whoever it is. But I do want to point out that there is always two sides to the story, which makes me wonder what the seller might have done to upset his ex. Now, if you're the one that sold me this console, feel free to put it in the comments. I think that's a story that all of us would be interested in. So this connector right here, I'm not sure what happened here. The wires are down under this black piece. I mean, they obviously put the black piece on top of those. I'm not sure if that's broken or not, that connector. Let's check that out.
So it looks like somebody obviously took this apart and it wasn't really clear on how to put it back together if they got the wires kind of smushed under there. The first side that he took off that was kind of hard to take off, it's not really necessary to take off. I never take it off unless I'm doing a full tear down of the device. You really don't need access to the other side if you're doing something like a disk drive or an HDMI or any board level repair. But if you need to get down to like the power supply, then yeah, you'd need to take off the other side. But so far, don't see much evidence of liquid. So let's keep going.
So far, it actually looks fine, but it did have quite a bit of wiggling to it. So didn't quite loosen the screw all the way here. How did that happen? Okay, I'm just gonna leave all those screws in this plate and set it aside so I can trip on it later and lose all of them or lose where they go. Okay, immediately I see some liquid damage right down there. That's all I see so far. And we got some liquid on this ribbon cable, some liquid damage. Let's check this side of it. No, maybe some right there.
You can actually see some right there on the disk drive. I think he's not really, maybe he sees it, maybe he doesn't, but right next to that connector that he just disconnected, you can already see some corrosion there.
I need to take this disk drive apart too. We'll worry about that later though. Now that we have that off, we need to take off these 42 totally necessary screws on this top metal plate so we can remove that and get down to the board and see what kind of damage we got. So far, the only damage is right here. So that makes me wonder if they poured liquid down the back of it. I'm just not sure yet.
Totally necessary, all those screws.
And with all those screws out, let's get this plate off. See if that gives us a clue as to what's going on here. Forgot to take the cable off. Okay, there we go. And honestly, not much of a clue. So far, the only evidence of damage is over here. So what I'm wondering is if maybe they poured drink down here and it got under this chip right here. I don't know. Certainly less damage than I thought there would be so far. Now let's see what the liquid metal looks like. Definitely have a dry spot right there. That is actually mostly to be expected these days on these older models especially. Other than that though, this board looks excellent. So I'm kind of inspecting this area the most because that is where the Wi-Fi chip is, and I don't see anything at all on this side of the board. So this is the only thing I see on the whole board that shows any sort of liquid damage. And just after I say that, I guess there is maybe a tiny bit over here. I feel like the seller must have taken this thing apart and cleaned it off. If it was 6 ounces of liquid that went in this thing, like that would definitely be noticeable. And it's just not. I'm wondering if the reason it won't update is just because of the disk drive and the disk drive ribbon cable. So that's the ribbon cable right there. And you can see there is some corrosion on these little pads right here.
The disk drive definitely needs to be connected in order to do an update on these models. So yeah, if it's not getting communication to the disk drive, it's definitely going to have an issue. And I think that corrosion is the cause. Let's see if that's the case.
And if the PS5 can't communicate with the disk drive, it will not let it update. So what I'm thinking is this might actually be a super easy fix, and we might just need to replace this cable. We need to check out that connector though that this goes into. That's going to be this guy right here. And actually looking at it, I don't see any problems at all with that. So I think the plan of attack here is going to be to clean off this corrosion. We do need to respread this liquid metal and take care of this dry spot. But then after that, take a closer look at this disk drive. Let's get it apart, look at the inside, and then inspect these connectors a little bit closer and see if there's anything going on there. So first, let's take care of this little dry spot here. Oh, it's actually not even that oxidized. That's good. It's mostly just dry. Sometimes there's a layer of oxidation you have to kind of rub off of the APU. Doesn't really seem to be the case here. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, that's feeling really good actually. And same thing here.
You'll want to clean both sides if you're going to do this,
okay,
so that it has got good
really not too bad there.
heat sink.
Next, let's take care of this board. And really all I need to do here is just get this corrosion cleaned off. So I'll come in with my metal dental pick, which is not how I recommend to do it for most people. It's just something I've gotten used to.
Now, yeah, you can scrape at corrosion with basically whatever you like. I personally use a fiberglass brush. It's a little abrasive, so you have to be a little careful with it, but it really gets at the corrosion, cleans off flex cables, connectors, cleans off everything, kind of repolishes them as well, so that if you need to add additional solder, all of that oxidation and corrosion is gone. So toothbrush isopropyl alcohol works really good most of the time. If there's a little too much, then going at it with something a little harder, like a microfiber brush or even a metal pick like he's using, will help.
There we go. And my wife's toothbrush with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. I'll just clean the other connectors while we're at it. Okay, and that's looking much cleaner. Now I'm actually going to start assembling this. I'm going to get the board back in and the clamp and top plate on, and then we'll take a look at that disk drive. Now with this plate on and all these screws in, let's take a look at this disk drive, and we need to take a closer look at this ribbon cable. And taking a look at the ribbon cable first here under the microscope. Let's see if we have any breaks in these traces. All this gunk is fine. It needs to be cleaned off, but it's not like a bunch of corrosion or anything. Okay, that all might actually be okay. Let's check this side. Got some gunk over here. Okay, I actually have hope for this ribbon cable. Let's get this cleaned off a little bit better if we can. Not sure if this pin is good enough to work or not, but I don't know. Actually, it might be okay. All right, now the end that's the worst. See how much of this gunk will just come off. All right, now the end that's the worst. See how much of this gunk will just come off. Actually, quite a bit of it is just coming right off. That's good news. So let's do a little bit of scraping on this. Just try and get as much of this off as we can. This ribbon cable, I think it's actually in okay condition. I don't see any major permanent damage on this thing. These are pretty cheap to replace though, so even if there was permanent damage, that's not the worry. The more of the worry is the connector on the disk drive, because if the ribbon cable is this bad, that means that the connector could be pretty bad too. How's that? Not bad at all. I think this just might work. But let's take a look at the disk drive and the connector there and see how bad that is. Oh yeah, that's going to be a problem. I'm going to get this board off of the disk drive and then we can take a look at it a little bit closer. Now this sticker has also been removed, so that tells me that somebody knew there was a disk drive issue and they probably were trying to get their disk out of it. All right, now we'll just lift this off a little bit.
I wonder if he's able to fix it. Whoever took a look at it is probably kicking themselves, because it looks like it's going to be as simple as cleaning off all of the corrosion. Now, if this connector is damaged, this board, this little logic board, this daughter board that's in the disk drive is paired to the logic board, so it does have to stay original. Luckily, that connector is relatively easy to replace. but more than likely it just needs a good cleaning in this case. Let's see if that's all it needs.
All right, now we'll just lift this off a little bit, and there's more screws we need to get to. One right here and one right here. Oh, and I think I might see some more liquid damage. I wonder if the drink was poured into the disk drive. If that's the case, then we need to make sure and save this board for sure, even if we have to replace the whole drive. The board is married to the motherboard. All right, I think those are the only two, if I remember right. Yep. All right. So here we go. Now I'll undo this cable and this little red and black cable and this little cable over here. And there we go. We'll take a closer look at this board in a minute. Let's look at this disk drive a little bit closer. I'm just going to take off this metal plate here just to see what it looks like on the inside of the drive. See if the laser and all that circuitry is looking good or not. It looks spotless inside. So I think we're good here. Looks like this board on the disk drive took most of the damage. So let's get in there and focus on that and see what's going on. All right, so this is the damage we know about right here. Let's have a look at the rest of the board. No damage over there. Good there, good there, good there, and a little more damage over here. How about the back side?
All of that looks like it would come up really easily with some isopropyl alcohol. Now, given that the flex cable had corrosion on it, that means that inside the connector as well has corrosion. So, or whatever gunk was on the flex cable. So he definitely needs to give that a little bit of attention. Let's see what he does here.
No damage. So if we start over here, let's see if there's any damage we need to do anything about, or if it just needs to be cleaned. Yep. That looks better. This pad right here kind of has a little bit of a hole in it, but the circuit still goes all the way through just fine. All right, now the big work. This could be a problem over here. That is pretty corroded. You can just see like all of the liquid right around here, and then it just kind of sat right in here and just corroded away these pins. So let's get this all cleaned up and see what repairs we have to do. And I am very surprised at this. It actually looks really, in fact, like you wouldn't, I mean, other than this, you wouldn't even know there was any corrosion there. This pin might be a little dirty, but overall, man, that looks so good. I'm gonna get up under here with a toothbrush a little bit better, but I don't know, I'm actually pretty hopeful that we might not even have to do any soldering on this. Yep, okay, I think that's about as good as we're gonna get it. I don't think there's any permanent problems here. Yep, you can see that is connected just fine there. Now that it's clean, that's gonna work just fine, I think. So let's get this put back together, then we'll test out this disk drive and see if it works. And if the disk drive works, then it should update. Okay, and that goes like that, and this goes like this. All right, and now the metal plate is gonna go right here. Disk drive is ready to go now. All right, here we go. This cover can go on. These guys go like this. And there we go. Well, let's get this thing plugged in and see if it works. So I've got it all plugged in. I do want to say before I start this thing up, if you don't already know, the TronicsFix team and I have created a TronicsFix Discord. If you want to come hang out with myself and the team over on Discord, I'll put a link to our server right in the description. Now, let's see if the disk drive works. It has power. Power to the console. Blue light. Okay, good so far. System software update installing. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, that's looking good so far. Let's put a disk in and see if the disk spins up. Apparently I already prepped that after it restarts. So we've got it all started up. Let's see if it's gonna play a disk. Here we go. Takes it in, shows the disk icon, spinning disk. Will it show up? Oh, it's spinning up, this is good. And there we go, so we fixed another PS5. Be sure to go to the links in the description if you wanna check out iFixit or come hang out on the TronicsFix Discord. If you like this type of video and you wanna see a video where I try to fix a PS5 that was burned in a house fire, I'll put a link for that video up on your screen now. Be sure to be good to your significant other today, and I hope you have a good one.
All right, so that was easy enough. Just took a little bit of cleaning. I wonder what kind of liquid was spilt on it and how much work somebody went through to clean it, to make it look like, to make it that clean. Maybe it was just water and it shorted out and the majority of the water didn't even touch anything. It just ran right through it. Who knows? If you have any crazy stories about an X damaging something, leave it in the comments below. If there's a channel that you'd like to see me feature in a future video, let me know as well. Thanks a ton for watching. We'll see you in the next video.